So, how do you target the right journal? Um, and this is the step where most authors go wrong. And then they are worried because it's not getting published, but they shouldn't be worried. It's just a question of finding your right audience. So, in most of the academic institutions that I've worked in and that I have collaborated with, lots of importance is still given to the impact factor. And if you want to go ahead in the academic career, you will probably need to consider also that when selecting your journal. And think about it this way: if your academic institution has a high impact factor policy, also a lot of others have. And based on that, you also have quite high levels of rejection rates within the community. And with those rejection rates, then comes also the idea my research is not good enough. But it's not many times, it's just not a good fit for the readership rather than not being good research in itself. So think about, is it important to you to publish in the highest impact factors? What is considered by the academic community that you work in as a standard? And then apply this standard in searching for it. What I like to do is usually look at the quartiles of impact factors and decide between manuscripts that are published in the first quartile of the impact factor. So be pragmatic. It's not only the impact factor. I usually look in the first quartile of the journals and think about, and one side is who is going to access it. So if a journal is not anywhere cited, anywhere discussed, will even this have any impact? So I'm looking usually when I have public funding, mainly through open access, and then I'm looking at what the costs of open access are. Some of the publishing houses have now costs up to 10,000 US dollars, which is quite high, and it might not fall into the budget of your specific grant that you have or your institution's policies. So think about those parts. Then think about the topic, the most important part. So looking really, does my topic fit in the journal? As well as the audience, does it fit with the audience that I want to address? Furthermore, look at the scope and aims that are written out in a journal itself. So, not only what is getting published in that journal, but I do like the part where we talk mainly about what is getting published, because this is easier than to comprehend. Is my research in line of what is getting published? But also what is written out as aims and scope of that specific journal. Because when you write a cover letter, many times I would also write, it falls within the scope of this journal because, and then give a reason why it falls within the scope of that specific journal. Look at also the target audience that is written out. Many times, when we are established in our field, we already know who the people are that are publishing in the field. Are they dabbling in other fields? Are they just focusing very on this field? And based on that, also what the audience is. But journals itself have also usually a description of who they want to target. Then, as said before, think about the types of papers that can be published. So, if your paper does not fit in any of the types that can be published or needs to have a lot of work in order to have it published, consider, is the work worth it? If the work is worth it, then you should redo the manuscript in a way that it fits to the instructions you offers. If it's not worth it, and if you see that this is a type of paper that will then not be easily redefined for another journal, if this one rejects it, try to consider also not submitting it to that specific journal.